Tyler Herro is getting a procedure. We had Anthony Chang on, and he says he's getting a procedure on his foot. Greg Sylvander from 5 Reasons Sports says today that it appears Tyler Herro and the Miami Heat are headed towards a divorce. He says, asking around, I get the strong sense that Tyler Herro and the Miami Heat are headed for a divorce this summer, one way or another. Well,
I I
the only
agree. I think the frustrating thing, like, and I understand both sides of it. Tyler would say, I've had some freak stuff happen to me, some weird stuff, but when I play, I ball out. Pat's looking at it like, who cares if you only play 30 games? It ain't helping us. Right. And that's the dilemma. Now the problem is that Tyler's had this since the beginning of his career, where like soon as you almost depend on and count on his 20 plus points, he gets an injury and he's out for a substantial amount of time. It's happened almost every year.
right.
And so I don't blame either side for being frustrated, but I think Tyler needs to understand that if he were Pat, he'd be frustrated with him
For sure.
for whatever
Well, I'm
reason.
sure he's got to be frustrated. Look, you're going to be
Right.
frustrated too because no one's going to give no one, even if Tyler Herro gets traded to wherever.
Nobody
I
gonna
don't,
sign him to the
I don't
contract
think
he
it.
wants.
No way. He's going to need to. He's going to need to be able to prove that he can stay on the court. He has to.
Right.
And I think Anthony's right. I think the way I read it is because Pat basically put it out there about the flexibility they want. They're not going long term on anybody. I think for Norman Powell, if he sticks around, he'll
2 year
probably
deal.
get not even. I bet
Not
you
even.
they give him a fat 1 year deal, like something like 30 million for the season. And obviously Tyler would be traded by then, I'd imagine, in some piece for somebody. Even if they go and revisit the Durant thing. If Durant really is miserable and they kick the tires on doing a Durant year just
Gonna
for
be
fun.
miserable everywhere. We just
He really is miserable
just
everywhere.
just go. Like, here's the thing. I can deal with a player being miserable if he puts up numbers. He gonna always put up numbers. He ain't gonna
Right.
never not play basketball.
He's
I
just a
don't care
curmudgeon.
about his emotions. He's but like I'm not hiring you as a personality. I'm hiring you as a basketball player, and that portion of it he handles excellently.
The one thing is, if he comes here, if they do a Durant bridge year, because I think if you're the Heat, you think to yourself, someone will always want to trade for Kevin Durant. And so like you kick the tires on it, you do Durant. You don't have to give the house up, obviously, like you would for Giannis. Because I don't know. Like I'm with you. I think that the Giannis thing, like they'll kick the tires on it, but I think they're back at the spot where the most they were going to give to the Bucks is what they would have given at the deadline. I don't think the Miami
It's
Heat.
not getting better. It's getting
Yeah,
worse.
I don't think the deal's getting better. I don't think
Right.
the deal's getting better for Giannis. I just don't. I gotta feel like if Giannis forces the issue and is like that's the place I want to go. And look, I'll sit here and for everybody because I got this with the Jokic thing yesterday. Well, why would Joker want to come here? I don't know. I'm just telling you from my perspective what I think the organization is gunning for. I don't know that Joker wants to come here. I'm just telling you what they did with Jovic in the presser. I thought was weird. It was super positive for no reason, and I just think that's what they're lining up for. Do I think the Heat are in a very attractive destination, other than this being an amazing place to live? No, of course not. They were the 10th team in the East. They were the worst team amongst the teams trying. Like, I get everybody's skepticism. Don't get me wrong. They have earned that. The organization has put themselves in a place. This is probably as least attractive it's been. But here's the thing. That's what it was when they traded for Jimmy, too. They were middling. All they had was the D-Wade retirement tour. They weren't in the playoffs. And Jimmy came here with Bam, who had not started yet. His starting point guard that year was Kendrick Nunn. Duncan Robinson wasn't Duncan Robinson yet, and Myers Leonard. Like, the point is always usually just get the guy. I don't know how they're going to get the guy. Yeah. I know they're not in the most attractive places, whether it's going to New York or something like that. But I don't think anybody's going to. The other thing is, you look at those places, and I think if you were, or you'd be like, fresh start, great place, I'm the man. I don't think it's unattractive from those perspectives either. So, but I just don't see Miami in this spot with Giannis that they're going to go all in. I think what they want to do is, I think they'll shake it up with one of the guards is going to leave, and then either try and get Giannis for a more reasonable deal. They probably still have to give up Kawhi Leonard, which I would hope they wouldn't have to, but I'll be real about it. I'm trying to be reasonable about this. If they don't, then yeah, I could see them going back to the Durant well, or seeing where Spider's heart's at, and those will be the things that they tick off. If they can't, then I guess the hope is you bring Norm back, you bring Wiggins back, you let the young guys play a little bit more. Maybe Kasparas Giacochonis is your starting point guard instead, and you're super young, and then you'll see where the chips fall in the middle of the season. But
Right.
I don't think they're going to do like I'm seeing these trades out there, like ESPN's like two unprotected picks and Kel'el Ware and Tyler Herro for Kawhi. And I'm like, are you high as a kite or high as a kite? Two unprotected picks for Kawhi Leonard when they already owe a pick to the Charlotte Hornets? What are we talking about, dude? For a guy you don't for Kawhi Leonard, the most maybe one of the most talented players in the league, but one of the biggest gambles in the league too? No way, dude. I just can't see them doing that.
Agreed.
I can't see
Like,
them doing
I don't. I just think that sometimes as fans we get into the mode of we want something, we want change, we want this, we want that, and I think that you still have to be smart about it, and you can't make change for the sake of change, because all change doesn't make you better. And I think that is the difficult part of what's happening, because you can say Tyler is probably not going to be here, and I can understand why they would move on from Tyler. I fully understand that. However, you're still losing 20 points a game. And the guys that you have that you would pair with Norm as a starter aren't proven to be those type of scorers. So, like, what are you going to do, or who's going to be the other guy? Who's going to be a scorer? Who's going to be the people you can depend on to get points? And that probably plays into that, because the other two guys are true point guards. So do you take Norm, you move him to the 2, maybe he doesn't have as much pressure with the ball in his hands and he can stay healthier longer? I don't know.
I think that they got to have next year, because of how he played. I think you got to give Kasparas Giacochonis run this year if he's going to be back with the team. Like, so he's either got to run the second unit, or he's going to be your starter out of camp, because that kid shot the lights out. I have no idea if he can get downhill or run the offense yet, because he was mostly off ball this year. And that was the thing that was strange. Like, and props to him, by the way, for in the chances he got to be with the Miami Heat. He did it in a role that's not his role. Like, he did that, like, always ball in his hands, being able to create for guys, and he shot the lights out when he got the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Not his thing. So yeah, I would like to see that. And I think with Norm, it would be an interesting pairing. And they say, like, Giacochonis is a very, very competitive defender. There were times I saw that he got bullied, but he's a child. He's 19. Does he turn 20 yet?
Who, Giacochonis?
Yeah, I don't think he has. I think he turns 20 next month.
Right.
He's a baby. So we'll see. We'll see with that. But I don't know. Them handed towards a divorce. Yeah, it feels that way. Like, I think that it was inevitable it was going to get this way if they didn't have a successful year from a team standpoint, that they were going to probably, especially if Tyler was banged up like he was this year. Like, how many more times can you go to that well? I know he's undefeated against the trade rumors. He's Floyd Mayweather when it comes to the summer, but this may be the one. This may be the one that gets him.